Welcome back to Transcriber from Reddit. Today's topic comes from the subreddit WomenInNews, posted by user wonderful-cod5256. It was posted 3 days ago. The post is a linked post with the title, Maga's violent threats spike as little girls threatened with rape. The New Republic. Below that reads some text from OP saying, breaks my heart, this keeps getting worse. Children talking rape. Note that the word children is in italics. Making racist slurs. Racist is misspelled. Rage baiting online and at school. As of me recording this has almost 10,000 upvotes and 929 comments. Now going to the article.
Here at thenewrepublic.com, we see the article again titled, Maga's violent threats spike as little girls threatened with rape. Beneath the title is subtitle saying, Donald Trump's win continues to bring out the very worst in his supporters. This was written by Ellie Quinlan Hoteling on November 8th, 2024, and published at 3:18 p.m. Eastern Time. Below the title and subtitle, we see a picture of Donald Trump standing at the podium, getting ready to speak. The podium has a sign that reads on it, Trump will fix it. Trump, Vance, make America great again. ! 2024. From Joe Radel / Getty Images. The article reads as follows. The re-election of Donald Trump, a court-described rapist, linked here, who famously said he could do anything he wants to women, including, quote, grab him by the pussy, end quote, to the White House, is having immediate ramifications for gender relations across the country, with young boys and men alike weaponizing the misogynistic rhetoric of the country's soon-to-be 47th president against their female counterparts. Across social media, young men are parroting white supremacist Hitler fan, linked here, and far-right political pundit Nick Fuentes, who wrote on X, formerly Twitter, linked here, quote, your body, my choice, forever, end quote, hours before the election was even called in Trump's favor. But the language has seemingly spilled from the digital ecosphere into daily life as well, with parents reporting that young boys were caught leveraging the overtly objectifying language against girls in school. School officials, Minnesota. I believe it's supposed to read school officials in Minnesota, issued a notice to parents on Friday that they were aware of, quote, misogynistic, transphobic, and homophobic memes and messages, end quote, directed towards students in nearby school districts, including the phrase, quote, your body, my choice, end quote, linked here. Quote, our country is facing a period of significant division, and the recent election has stirred a range of emotions. Although Hopkins Public Schools is nonpartisan, we recognize that the outcome of the election has and will continue to spark instances of racism, homophobia, and sexism in school communities across the nation and state, including here in Hopkins, end quote, wrote Dr. Rhoda Miripiri-Reed, superintendent of the Hopkins Public School System, in a letter that encouraged parents to reach out to local authorities if their children received such messages. Social media is awash with similar but unverified anecdotes of boys throwing the horrific threat around their school hallways. The election results have seemingly created a safe space for misogynists to crawl out of the woodwork. In Texas, activists celebrating Trump's win overtook Texas State University's San Marcos campus, raising signs that read, quote, women are property, end quote, homosex is sin, end quote, and lists that designated women and slaves as, quote, types of property, end quote. Linked here. At best, the comments are unsavory rage bait being regurgitated by people who are unaware of the ramifications or depth of the hyperconservative, misogynistic belief. but they have the double-sided effect of making women who have had their reproductive rights systematically stripped away from them on a state-by-state basis since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in 2022 feel incredibly unsafe on the precipice of an overwhelmingly far-right administration. Here ends the article. For examples, let's first go to the link for school officials, Minnesota. Here on X, formerly known as Twitter, posted by Aaron Rupar, or at Rupar, spelled at ATRUPAR, titled, "Parents in a Minnesota School District Received This Message." Here is a screenshot of the message. The message is from Hopkins Public Schools. At the top it reads, "Dear families, our country is facing a period of significant division, and the recent election has stirred a range of emotions. Although Hopkins Public Schools is nonpartisan, we recognize that the outcome of the election has and will continue to spark instances of racism, homophobia, and sexism in school communities across the nation and state, including here in Hopkins. We have learned that Black students at one of our middle schools received racist text messages referencing slavery and plantations, coming from an unidentified source. After connecting with the Minnetonka police, we confirmed that similar incidents have been reported in K-12 and college settings across at least 7 other states, including Minnesota. You can read more about these incidents in this article." The image shows a link there, not available in this Twitter exchange. I continue reading. "Additionally, we are aware of reports in other districts involving misogynistic, e.g., quote, 'your body, my choice,' end quote, end parentheses, transphobic and homophobic memes and text messages received by students, although we have not yet received specific reports in our schools. What we know so far is that a handful of our students reported receiving these messages on their personal devices." Okay. So it sounds like the "your body, my choice" quote is being distributed in the other district, at least at time of release, with the majority of the quotes being leveled at students referencing slavery and plantations being in this particular district, at least based off of reading this. I continue reading. "In working with our cybersecurity partner, we can confirm these messages did not involve personal data from Hopkins, nor do we maintain information or records of students' personal device information." In bold, "Let us be clear. Messages like these have no place in Hopkins schools." End bold. "We are resolute in our commitment to making our schools safe, inclusive environments for all students, staff, and families. Guided by our core values of love, vigilant equity, and authentic inclusivity, we are dedicated to responding firmly. There is absolutely no room for hate. At Hopkins, we believe in respecting and valuing differences. Our commitment to equity and inclusivity is unwavering, as we prepare students for a future that celebrates diverse perspectives and fosters belonging for everyone. We encourage you to talk with your children." Note that the word children is child, and in parentheses is Ren, end parentheses, "this evening about what they may be feeling, hearing, or seeing on their phones and on social media. If they receive any offensive messages as described above, please encourage them to share it immediately with their teacher, principal, and/or a trusted staff member. Minnetonka and Hopkins Police also encourage individual students and families to make a police report upon receiving hate speech on a personal device. Thank you for your partnership in supporting a safe and inclusive community for all students, staff, and families. Be well. Dr. Miri Piri Reed, Superintendent, District Holistic Safety Team." As of recording, this X post, formerly known as Twitter, received 2,535 reposts and has 362 comments. If anybody is receiving speech like this, please report it. If you are in school, report it to your teacher, principal, etc. If you are an adult and you hear about your child or someone else's child receiving this, please, again, gather information and report it. If the school authorities choose to not do anything about it or choose to act oblivious to your reporting, please post it on social media. Bullying starts with kids passing along these messages to other kids. They react when their victims who receive these messages act shocked, hurt, confused. What's even more important is when these perpetrators decide to continue to bully over and again and again and again. They're usually emboldened by a lack of response from authorities. Also important to note is anything accompanying these messages, such as emojis, or if delivered verbally or by a video, if there's any kind of other threats being made. Sometimes kids are dicks enough to just say the words just to be edgy and just to feel like they can get a rise out of other people. Sometimes they're also stupid enough to make a threat towards the person. Despite being kids, they know enough that what they say gets a rise out of adults, and what they say gets a rise out of their victims. They also know that not every school district takes bullying seriously. And depending on how awful and sociopathic those kids are, they might continue to harass and bully some more until the victim eventually commits suicide. Pay attention to the kids around you. Encourage their mental health well-being and encourage them to report. And most of all, encourage them to have a safe space so that they can express their feelings about what is happening to them at school. Take bullying seriously. That is it for today. Thank you for watching.
Seeds of hope, they still grow. Sheets of white over rock and grass.